Hey, yo, everybody, how's it going? DBZ Mando here, and I just watched the Bad Batch episode called Aftermath, and so this is gonna be like a little bit of a review thing. I want to kind of do more of these. I'm probably gonna do more of these little, I guess, review things when these episodes come out, and then I'll do like breakdown videos later on. But right now, I just want to get my thoughts out there for this episode. This will contain spoilers, so spoiler warning. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it if you can. But yeah, so I watched this episode and it's an hour long too. Like eventually when I was gonna watch it the first time, I stayed up late, and I was like, yo, 20 minute episode, let's go. And then I saw it was an hour long. It was an hour 10 minutes long, and I'm like, wow, okay. So I ended up watching it later that day. And wow, I am just speechless. Honestly, as I was watching it, many things were going through my mind. Just so many things I wanted to talk about. It was just an insane episode, and a lot has happened. So it's a really good episode. Like I said, no, it's really good. Really good episode. The animation is freaking amazing, dude. The animation is so good. It's like really detailed too, especially when they do little close-ups of like Hunter. You can see his like after shadow and all that with a lot of these characters and the really emotion in them. But yeah, it was really good animation wise, and the story was insane. So let's get a little. So we start off like okay. So this starts off with them being on the planet that I already forgot. A shame on me, but they're on a planet and they were requested as backup. So they go to assist this planet, and the planet they are on happens to be Caleb Dune and and his master are on that planet, which was insane. Seeing Caleb Dune, and if to you some of you that don't know who Caleb Dune is technically right. It's from Rebels. His Caleb Dune is his real name, and Kanan is what they call him. Kanan was the name he changed to. So we see Kanan Jarrus, Caleb Dune, in this episode. This is when he's younger, so that was insane. Seeing him was insane. Like I was just like, what? I was shocked and excited because we got to see him. Because we saw a little Easter egg of him in the Clone Wars episode, I think the final episode of the Clone Wars, and then this episode we actually get to see him. I will say though, hearing his voice actor, like they use the same voice actor for Kanan, and it sounded weird because you have this little kid and he's got the voice of Kanan Jarrus, who was like a grown man, and I'm just like I appreciate that they did that. Could the actor like I don't know made him sound a little younger? Because sometimes there were the hints of him sounding younger. I'm like, okay, they could have stuck with that, but then it just sounded like regular Kanan. So it just sounds like some I think what is it Kanan like 30 some 30-year-old dude in the body of a teenager, and I'm like, what on earth? Dude, Caleb Dune hit puberty early. But no, other than that, it was really good. Um, and then they executed Order 66 in that. Like when I was watching, I was like, "Yo, isn't it too early?" But that's right because I remembered they said Obi-Wan was on Utapau with fighting Grievous, and then Order 66 got executed. And I was like, "Isn't that early?" But then I remembered, I played it back in my mind. Order 66 was executed when he was on Utapau, a few moments after he killed Grievous. So it's happening. This is happening technically while Episode 3 is going on, and a little bit after as well. But so they execute Order 66, and the Bad Batch has no clue. Like a lot of them, aside from Crosshair, have no clue what it is. So they're just witnessing their clone brethren just start killing Kanan's master, and Hunter's just out there trying to figure out what's going on, and then he and Crosshair go follow Kanan, and he's like, "Yo, I'm on your side," but little they know, Crosshair was actually trying to kill Kanan, and he's trying to figure out why. And apparently, we find out later on that Crosshair, like his inhibitor chip, is damaged, yes, but a part of it is still there, so that's why he was still executing it. And Crosshair was acting a little bit funny the entire episode because Crosshair all of a sudden was like, we follow orders, and Hunter's like, since when have we done that? Because the Bad Batch has a reputation for not really following orders. But so Crosshair's a little wonky the entire way. And then, Kanan gets away. Hunter goes ahead and, makes it seem like he killed him, but he didn't. He just let him go away. And so The entire episode is them heading to Camino and figuring out, they're trying to figure out what to do with the clones. We have all these clones, and there's a scene where they're talking, where Palpatine's talking, and it's like a scene directly from the movie. Like they don't show the movie; they have the audio. I should say the audio lines from the movie, and they're animating Palpatine saying it. So he's just saying the entire speech he said in the movie on there, and all the clones are like cheering, like they're brainless. Like, it seems like after they execute Order 66, all those clones, all their personalities were gone. All their personalities were just, they didn't exist anymore, I should say. They were blank because they were just like mindlessly cheering, all sounding the same. None of them had their personalities that they used to anymore. They were just purely focused on, following just orders. They were soulless, and so to speak. So that was interesting. And then there was like, a cantina fight scene, or a barracks fight scene, which was pretty goofy. We also got introduced to this girl called Omega, who we find out later on isn't what all she seems. She's a deficient clone technically. But yeah, we see her, and she sits with the Bad Batch, and she's astonished by, mesmerized by them. She idolizes them and thinks they're like the coolest thing ever. And we find out later on that apparently she was a clone. She's a clone. But I'm not too sure. Like, she's female, so she's a clone that's female. But I'm still not too sure exactly what other divisions she has. Like, okay, her being a female clone can't be the only thing, right? She probably has some, I don't know, psychic abilities or whatever, because she's able to tell Crosshair that it's not his fault for what's about to happen. And when we find out later on is that Crosshair is the inhibitor chip in his is enhanced, and he becomes straight loyal to the Empire later on. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before that all happened, well, they're introduced to the girl, but before Crosshair gets enhanced, they ended up going to Alderaan. And they're there to take out a few insurgents because Moff Tarkin is there and wants to test their abilities. And after seeing it in combat, he's impressed. So he goes to send them on a mission to go take out insurgents on Alderaan. And they head over to Alderaan. And they think the insurgents are droids. Well, Hunter assumes they're droids. They weren't told they were droids. He assumes they were droids. And finds out that it was just nothing but a bunch of, old Republic fighters and rebellions. And they actually meet Saw Gerrera. And he tells them, everything's changed. The Empire's taken over, and we have no clue what's going to happen. And so they're just going to try and fight for their, their freedom. They're like, the Clone War may be over, but the Civil War is about to begin. And it's the preludings to a rebellion that will happen, later on. But yeah, so they're introduced to Saw, and Hunter is perplexed because, it was just like a bunch of, he was expecting like droids or whatever, and, you get all these people, families, and he's just like, no, I'm not going to do this. Crosshair, on the other hand, was like, yo, we follow orders. What are you doing? So, and that caused an entire bickering between the two. And a probe droid is sent out, and, to monitor them by Moff Tarkin because he doesn't trust them. Moff Tarkin doesn't like clones, and he wants to get rid of them. But, that doesn't end up, well, whether that happens or not, we see. He wants to enlist regular people, but he is intrigued by Crosshair later on from the probe because he wanted to follow orders. So that intrigues Tarkin. So after all that, they head back to Camino and are placed under arrest. They're then held in a cell, and then the clones grab what's his name? Crosshair. Sorry, the excess clones grab Crosshair. Oh, well, I should say also, while they were out, what's her name? Omega, the little girl, has been exploring, snooping around in their room looking for things. I think she was just like wanted to see what other stuff they had. But she was just looking around in there, and then clones end up going there trying to take all their stuff after finding out about their betrayal from the probe droid. And they imprison her. And then, the rest of Clone Force 99, the Bad Batch, gets imprisoned as well. So they're all imprisoned. Crosshair is then taken, and they enhance his inhibitor chip because he's somewhat loyal. They just need to strengthen that loyalty bond. And they do that. And in the meantime, while they're doing that, the Bad Batch gets out, escapes, and then runs. And then, you have all these clones trying to take him out, and apparently Crosshair betrays them. Well, not apparently, he does. Crosshair straight up betrays them, but it's not, it's not his fault. They enhance the inhibitor chip in him, so he calls out Hunter for his disloyalty, and he's no longer worthy of being a leader, and so they go to take him out, and they all fight back. Wrecker's almost killed. He gets shot in the arm, like with live rounds or whatever, but they're able to make it out and escape with them. And they actually, what's intriguing is that they tried to escape and the doors that were going to shut, but they were overridden by one of the Kaminoans, who wants them to get out of there. So, because the Kaminoans, they're like iffy on the situation. They're like, they don't know, because they're being threatened of defunding because of the clones. Because Tarkin, again, doesn't like clones and wants to get rid of them. And that threatens them because that's their entire funding, is for the clones. And they see them as, superior and all that. But, Tarkin wants to enlist regular people. But yeah, so they ended up all escaping, and then the episode ends with them going to Lightspeed and Omega being, mesmerized, because she never left the planet. So she's like mesmerized by the Lightspeed, and then they head out, and that's where the episode ends. So yeah, and all in all, it's very, very interesting. I look forward to it. It's got a lot of questions. It had a lot of things running through my mind as it was going on, and I look very, very forward to this series. Whether or not it's going to be 23 minutes later episodes every week now, we shall see. I mean, it could be an hour long, and I don't mind if it's an hour long. It'd be pretty cool. Oh yeah, they also said at the end of the episode they were going to a planet T19 or whatever. I think, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch the episode. But T19 or whatever, they know a guy. So I'm assuming, could that be Rex? If it's Rex, how do they know he's there? But it's soon to be seen. Again, it just depends on who it is they're talking about, or Hunter was talking about at the end of the episode. Oh right, I didn't even explain. I should probably explain this. The reason why none of them executed Order 66, they explain it. Hunter, I don't remember quite why Hunter doesn't. Well, okay, so let me tell the easy ones. Echo doesn't execute Order 66 because his mind was literally warped and messed with after he literally almost died. Wrecker, he doesn't remember execute Order 66 because, well, Wrecker's Wrecker. Wrecker's Wrecker. He's got a little bit of deficiencies. Hunter doesn't remember it. I don't know exactly. Well, Hunter, I think it was just because of the mutation. He doesn't remember what it is, and has too much of his own independence. But I think also Hunter doesn't remember it just because, his mutation probably got messed with it. Along with Tech. Tech knows what it is, but doesn't execute as strongly as he's too smart, I should say. So it kind of interferes with all that. But mostly just because of genetic mutations, it doesn't really proc off very well. Crosshair, on the other hand, he seems to, his mind is warped, but his inheritor chip was still there. So he was still executing the order like normal. But yeah, all in all, it was a really good episode. I was very intrigued. I'll do a full breakdown video in the future. I wanted this video up yesterday, but that ended up happening. But that's okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see you guys in the next video. Make a breakdown video analyzing anything more in depth of what happened. This was just a little mini review. But again, I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to blast that like button out of this universe. Subscribe, hit that bell notification, support me with the hitting like button as to get this video out and more. And I'll see you guys in the next video. DBZ Mando, signing out.